Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for Eden Zero, Chapter 59. And first off, yeah, I'm from sorry that I'm from sorry that basically this review is as late as it is. Like this is a late night review I'm doing, guys. Like as it stands, it's basically it's pretty much 1:30 in the morning here. But and the reason for that is because I was having. In terms of like I suppose we considered yesterday, but I'm still treating it as today. I had a very eventful and very busy and pretty much busy day today. So yeah, that's pretty much the reason as to why I'm giving you guys this review as late as it is. But I just wanted to get it done because I wanted to I wanted to rest and not have to worry about and not to worry too much about doing any reviews tomorrow, I guess you could say. Um, with that said, though, let's talk about the chapter itself. Which is again Eden Zero, Chapter 59. And okay, so first off, I have to give Mashima a little bit of leeway credit here, because based off this chapter, he seems to be sticking to his guns when it comes to Valkyrie's death, at least for now. And the reason why I'm saying for now is because there's one major question that really needs to be addressed. That if Valkyrie is really dead, there's one major question that really needs to be addressed now, which is how Eden Zero is going to operate at full power without Valkyrie. Because we pretty much have to remember. It was established that each of the starshines has a specific function and pretty much duty in terms of operating the pretty much ship of Eden Zero. So just remembering that little detail already set off more than a couple of red flags for me. And a couple of red flags, and definitely more than definitely few question marks in my brain. So, and with that, and just knowing all of this, there's two ways there's two ways I'm kind of viewing this whole there's two ways I'm viewing this whole thing going forward. The first scenario I see happening is that Homer is going to inherit all Valkyrie's power and functions and become the new Sword of Edens in some way. Or as I discussed last week with Prince and Koala, I think another scapegoat that probably could bring Valkyrie back is that in last week's chapter it was we in last week's chapter, we pretty much essentially learned of basically a rare metal that's made up of condensed ether that's made up of condensed ether. So just knowing that this pretty much metal exists that pretty much contains condensed ether, I think that in a way I think that in itself it probably could be used as a means in order to resurrect. Valkyrie in some way. Now, as of right now, I'm kind of in the latter camp, but I think it would be cool. It would be even cooler if Mashima ended up combining almost both of these scenarios. Like if Homer ended up becoming like pretty much the new ended up becoming almost like pretty much the pretty much new Valkyrie and these metals in some way are going to make her into that almost. But I'm for as of right now I'm still sticking by the whole idea that pretty much these like ether metals is going to resurrect Valkyrie. Honestly, that in itself it already seems like it seems like pretty much the pretty much standard like pretty much the go-to setup in terms of Valkyrie being like resurrected almost, which yeah I wouldn't mind if Valkyrie stayed dead now that I'm thinking about it more, but I think it's inevitable that probably is going to be the case that probably these ether metals are going to be used in order to resurrect her, I think, in some way. Now, I can't exactly lie. As a group of characters, in, as a group of characters, the pretty much Valkyrie Rebel Army didn't make the greatest first impression on me. I mean, on one hand, I get it. Every single one of those guys has been struggling for so long in order to earn their freedom, and from now that it's pretty much within their grasp. It's only natural that everyone would be excited in order to be excited, in order to finally like act against like Prince Kurenai and finally earn their freedom. But in this current situation, it's pretty much one of those situations where it's basically it's extremely disingenuous in order to naturally assume that Homura is going to fight for them on the spot. I mean Shiki's already definitely kickstarted that, but as Rebecca pointed out, Homura is going through a grieving period right now, and obviously like Homura is going to work past this, but that's like Homer working past this is all a given, but at the core, the problem is that the Valkyrie army they seem to treat everything associated with the name of Valkyrie as a convenience to their cause without fully understanding, like for instance, as to why Valkyrie even made the sacrifice she did, and in like. And in many respects, it feels like this like Valkyrie army has definitely a lot more to prove to Homura than pretty much Homura has to prove to them, and like like it's really a thing for me where as I said, the Valkyrie army is acting almost extremely disingenuous, and they need to kind of and they need to kind of learn a little just what and they need to learn as to what Valkyrie was trying to do. The reason is as to why she was protecting them for so long is because she genuinely cared, but they're treating it almost as like just they're treating like Valkyrie's sacrifice as just part of the cause, pretty much. So so just as a first impression of the Valkyrie army, I'm not impressed, unfortunately. I'm not impressed by any kind of their morale, really. So hopefully next chapter I can get at least a little bit more in order to work off of. But yeah. Also, and I don't know how rare this will be, but I'll be damned if Mashima in this one chapter didn't end up cracking the friendship code with this chapter. I mean that one scene from Shiki's of Shiki's entire speech to Homura is the perfect, and I mean perfect, example of Mashima's ability to in order to using the friendship motivator correctly. And maybe he's done it before and I just haven't noticed, but compared to every other time I've seen it used thus far in the series and others, that's that pretty much moment between Homura and Shiki, that was the first genuine moment where I basically felt like it wasn't being used as a means to serve the plot. And honestly, if you can do more scenes like this, then please do not hold back, Mashima. I love scenes like I love scenes like this, and please, like, obviously there's a risk of him overusing it now, but like if Mashima can do a lot more scenes like this, I would welcome it. I really would. Because but Mashima for pretty much better or worse, this does seem to be like in terms of using the whole friendship motivator properly, that definitely is his Achilles heel. But this is one time where he used it to its absolute advantage. And the chapter ends with from Shiki and Kurenai like pretty much preparing to pretty much duke it out and fight each other. But even before that, we pretty much get a pretty emotional bomb drop that Kurenai, the way she's been acting up to this point, that she basically admitted to us that she's always been a pretty much petty a petty, shitty, like money grubbing skank her entire life. And obviously, we have to wait in order to see where Mashima takes this. But is it too much to ask that Mashima keeps her this way with absolutely zero chance of redemption? I mean, it's a shonen, so obviously, I think Kurenai is gonna get some form of redemption in the end. But at the very least, I'm hoping it's done in a way where there's like pretty much no going back for her either. Almost in a way where okay, Prince Kurenai ends up having her redeeming moment, and ends up having her redeeming moment, but where she does have her redeeming moment, but pretty much, but pretty much neither does she like end up surviving this. She ends up like in the process of her having her redeeming moment, what happens is she ends up dying. So, I think that would kind of be the perfect way in order to handle this. And if Kurenai ends up, having... It's one of those things for me where if Kurenai ends up having a redeeming moment and surviving this, it's going to feel a little cheap. I'm sorry. I have to call balls and strikes on that. And, yeah, I think the only way in order to handle... If Kurenai ends up having a redeeming moment, the only way for it to be, natural for me is if she dies as well. That's the only way I can handle it, and it definitely seems to be pointing in that direction anyway. As there's a lot of points throughout the chapter that pretty much tells us everything is going to be set up for in order for Homer to settle this whole matter personally. So. Yeah, I'm hoping this whole thing is settled soon. I'm hoping this whole thing, for better or worse, is settled by Homer at the very least. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Mr. Crunchyroll. Dead and Night of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.